Yeah,
All right,
we'll
I'll
fix
start
it in
in a
post that we don't have an intro planned. I'm Logan.
both
That's
ready?
Rainey. Kyle's
we
our
don't
mediator.
have,
You
like,
can't see his
we don't
face.
have, like,
It's
a
because he's
scripted
the
intro
coolest
or
among us.
anything.
He decides when Rainey or I get a point. We
figured
talk about
something
stupid bullshit.
out for that,
We're gonna be talking
but-
about dragons, guns, and nudity because that's what's important in
That's
this
just what
world.
we
Yeah, we'll fix it in post
And
that we don't
somehow
have an
it's all
intro
gonna tie
planned.
together.
I'm Logan.
might.
That's Rainey.
It probably
Kyle's our
won't, but we
mediator.
can- we
You
can be
can't see his
hopeful.
face.
Our
It's
first
because he's the
topic,
coolest
of
among
course.
us. He decides
New
when
dragons
Rainey
with
and I
guns.
get a point. We talk
dragons
about
with
stupid
guns.
bullshit. We're gonna be
Fucking
talking
hell,
about
of course,
dragons,
100% totally I'm on board.
guns, and nudity. Because
First topic is,
That's-
it's not even fucking
that's
centered.
what's important in
I
this world.
need to do better
Uh,
with all of this there.
yeah,
might.
dragons
probably
is our
won't,
first
but
topic.
we can-
Why
we
is
can
it our
be
first
hopeful.
topic, Rainey?
Our first
You
topic,
are
of
the one
course.
who chose this topic. Why is it
Okay,
the
so-
first one?
So,
Yep,
if I'm
dragons
gonna
with
be
guns.
completely honest, I chose dragons besides the fact that they're cool as shit.
First
And they're
topic
in, like,
is it's
almost
not even
every
fucking
single,
centered. I need to do better
civilization
with,
that's
with
ever
all of
been.
this there.
But I've also been reading a lot of
Yeah.
dragon books.
Dragons is our first topic.
Oh, really?
Why is it our first topic, Rainey?
Are you
You
ready to gone yet?
are the one who chose this
I
topic.
have. Those
Why
aren't
is it the
dragon
first
books
one?
I'm talking about.
Was it the
So-
one
Oh,
I
you're
was
reading
talking
Dragon
about?
Smut. Got it.
Yes,
Fucking pervert.
100%.
I think I
Totally.
deserve a point for that.
It's a good series.
Getting called out. Fucking.
I haven't started the series.
Have you read
recommended
Aragon yet?
I've been reading other
They're
series.
still talking
Oh,
about
boy.
smut. Oh, you're reading Dragon Smut. Got it.
No, it's a different
Fucking
series.
pervert.
But yeah, no, let's move away from my reading preferences.
I think I deserve a point for that. Getting called out.
Fucking hell.
Fucking.
Oh, fuck.
No,
okay.
dragons. They're
are cool
still
shit.
talking about
Kids
kids
who
who
are
are obsessed with dragons. Those are like it's that weird mix of the dinosaur kid and the unicorn kid. It's like a weird middle ground because they're fake, but they're also cool.
How do you know unicorns are fake?
How do you know dragons are fake?
No, dragons are cool shit. Kids who are obsessed with dragons. Those are like
Lolo?
it's that weird mix of the dinosaur kid and
Our
the
first
unicorn
one's
kid.
gonna be last
like
one
a
'cause
weird
it'll
middle
be the
ground
same one that I put,
because they're
I
fake,
definitely
but they're
don't
also
commit.
cool. I don't do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We just started. You guys are already tearing my
Yeah.
soul out a little bit.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
100%. That's what I live
our
for,
first
sir.
first one's gonna be the last
Last
one.
one because it'll be the same.
You signed
one
up for this. This
that
was
I
your
put,
idea.
This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
your
how
idea.
was this my
100%.
idea? I don't do it. I don't think dragons was my idea.
I mean,
No.
no, it was my
Yeah,
idea. You're the one who went along with it.
We just started.
Let me just
You guys
say
are
that.
already. Yeah, I
It
said
may be
no.
my
I
idea,
said
but
no
you
idea
went
was a
along.
bad idea. I didn't literally mean no idea was a bad idea. Like you have no idea what we're talking about, do you?
I do. We're talking about
yeah.
Yeah,
How
is that
is this
as
my
far as you
idea?
got with that?
that.
I don't think dragons was my idea.
Maybe?
Oh no. Setting us up.
So-
Yeah, I said no.
right off the
I said
rip.
no idea was a bad idea. I didn't literally.
At least
mean
one
no idea
person
was a
has
bad
to have
idea.
some
Like,
idea
You have
what-
no
All
idea.
right, so we're
what
talking about your
do you?
reading.
Well, no, we're not talking
Yeah, is
about
that
my
is that as
research.
far as you got with
No.
that? Where do dragons show up? You tell us that. Where do they show up, huh?
Oh no.
Well, they show up in. Well, obviously they show up in like the Japanese mythology, Chinese
Setting us up for a
mythology.
banger right
Hell,
off
if you
the
even
rip.
look
We
into
just
some of it,
at least
there-
one
it
person
shows
has
up
to
in,
have
like,
some idea what the fuck we're talking about. Are you already out of examples?
No.
Where do dragons
And
show
I'm
up?
trying
You-
to
you
word
tell
it
us
so
that.
it's
Where do they show
correct.
up, huh? So you don't sound like a racist.
Against the dragons.
No, but if you go into like the country of the Asian countries, like you'll see depictions.
Are you
of
already
it,
out
and
of
you'll also go
dragons?
over.
There's Western dragons.
There's European dragons.
That's what a
there's
Western
Aztec
dragon
American
dragons.
dragons.
So you
Yeah,
don't
no,
sound like
absolutely.
a racist.
The dragons are in all sorts of different cultures and different myths.
But they're
even if
all
those
kind of
cultures
close to the
haven't-
same thing. There's something serpent-like that's flying through the sky, or
Yeah.
Or
What everyone considers a typical
yeah, there are
dragon.
Oriental
There are
dragons.
different-
There's
Yeah,
Western
they depict them
dragons.
differently.
Now,
Here's a thought for
there's-
you. We
That's
hear a
what
lot
Western
about them
dragon
being
is.
ancient and old, but what if that literally just means nah, they're ancient, like they were a thing and now
But
they're
they're
not.
all
And in
kind of
reality,
close to
we're
the
just
same
talking
thing.
about
There's something
dinosaurs.
serpent-like that's
I
flying
mean,
through the
there's
sky.
always the
or-
possibility that we're just talking
and
about
all
dinosaurs.
of the actual
Now, here's
facts
a thought
about
for you.
dinosaurs just being jumbled
hear a
together
lot
and
about them
confused,
being ancient and
created
old.
Yeah, no,
those-
I mean
what
that
if
is a
that literally
possibility.
just
100%.
Nah,
I like
they're
some of
ancient.
that
fly,
Like they
some of them
were
have
a
giant
thing, and now
mouths that
they're
could eat
not.
you in
And
one
reality,
bite,
we're
some
just
of them
talking
spit
about
Some of them are
dinosaurs.
Some of them are, sea serpents, things like that. Yeah,
And
that's a
all of the,
possibility. I like
all
the
of
idea of
the
the mythology, from a mythology
actual
standpoint, where they're mystical creatures.
facts about
could do magic.
dinosaurs just being jumbled together
So-
and confused.
But
created those.
I mean, you're looking at it from a logical standpoint. I'm looking at it from a
like
fun
some of them
standpoint.
fly, some of them have
Um,
giant mouths that could eat you in one bite.
I-
Some of them spit
But
acid.
there are so many different depictions of them in different cultures that haven't even ever interacted with each other. So, like, how did they get such similar drawings and myths and all of this if they've never interacted?
Who's to say they never interacted? Like, I mean,
These cultures?
if you found a bone of a cow and took it home with you and told somebody that it was a bone of Bigfoot, like you're interacting with that cow and now telling people it's Bigfoot.
I mean, yeah, but it's not Bigfoot. Why would you?
Who's to say
I
they never
see.
interacted?
Why would you
Like,
lie?
I
I
mean,
get it.
well,
Okay. I see where you're going
if you
with this.
pick up a
Um,
giant
bone,
bone,
you're
you're
like,
like,
wow,
wow,
this
this
thing
must
must
come
come
from a
from a
fucking
fucking
monster.
monster.
Look at this giant tooth. You think of a
bone of
a
Bigfoot.
giant lizardy beast with wings that breathes fire, but you're interacting with that
Still
cow
really
and now
big, too.
telling people it's Bigfoot.
You know what? I think that people were describing dragons because they found dinosaur fossils.
You pick up a giant
That's-
bone,
that's
you're
exactly
like,
what
wow,
I'm
this
saying.
thing must come from
Like,
a fucking
mean,
monster.
if
Look
you
at
found
this
maybe
giant
you found
tooth.
fossils.
You think of a giant
that were dragon
lizardy
fossils,
beast with
like,
wings that breathes fire.
Like,
but
have you ever seen
you
the
found
skull of a
dinosaurs
Draco
too.
Rex?
Yeah, you
have.
find a
looks like a
T-Rex
dinosaur.
fossil, and you're like, wow, that's a
Dragon.
fucking dragon. It's the same thing that happened in like the Greek islands where they found those
that's
miniature
exactly what I'm
elephant
saying.
skulls that look like Cyclops skulls.
If you
It's the same
found
thing.
fossils,
like
Yeah, they thought they were
They
Cyclops.
made it up.
Or
They
dragon
were like,
fossils,
oh, it's like the fucking Cyclops. It looks like a human skull
you
with
found
one eye
dinosaur.
socket. Yeah,
but
you find
it's an elephant skull.
a T-Rex fossil,
elephants.
and you're like, wow, that's a fucking dragon. It's the
Apparently
same
on
thing
that-
that happened in
that
same
like
island.
the Greek islands where they
Yeah.
found
Yeah, on
See,
that
I
same
like-
miniature
island.
elephant
Damn it.
skulls that look like Cyclops skulls.
You'll
the same
never get a
thing.
word in edgewise.
Like,
I'm sorry.
They made it up. They were just like, oh,
I'm sorry,
no,
on that
I mean,
same-
what's
same
what's
island,
fucking
what?
Cyclops?
The
It looks like a
idea
human
of
skull
a
with one eye
dragon
socket.
that can morph into a
But
person, or the
an
idea
elephant
that
skull. Actual humans, the real ones, might have like ancestral memory, and think of what a dragon might look like when it's just dinosaurs.
Well, I mean, and we may have that memory, but I mean, I personally like the magic.
Oh, well, I mean, what's cooler, the
better.
idea
Yeah,
of,
sure,
of
fantasy's
a
fine.
dragon that can morph
Yeah,
into
I-
a person, or the idea that
I mean,
actual
fucking
humans,
DM.
the real
We
ones,
play
might
D&D
have like,
all the time.
ancestral memory.
We do,
and
indeed.
think of what a dragon might
Some
look
of those
like
D&D
when
sessions, I really
it's
wish
just
we could
dinosaurs.
record. I wish everyone was on board.
That'd be
with that.
fantastic. Maybe the next one.
Okay, bet. So anyway, fantasy.
Yeah, sure.
dragons,
Fantasy's
like,
fun.
I've had discussions with you about.
I'm your
this,
fucking
where it's
DM.
Like,
we play
I think
D&D
the
all
last
the time.
we discussed dragons, you told me to stop and wait for this podcast, because there's so like
That'd be
so
fantastic.
you have,
maybe
you have
the
wizards,
next one.
right? There is
Yeah.
certain myths out there that said that these wizards are actually dragons in human form. Who just decided one day, you know what, it's safer for us to be there. So what if the concept of magic comes from them because they did all of that?
Well, that's not where the concept of of magic originally came from. Like people used to believe that it was the literal demon possession, and that the demon was taking over your body and doing things with magic in a human
Yeah,
body.
but that's
and
more of the Christianity standpoint, I think.
you could
I
call
could
it
be wrong.
Christianity. You could also call it Arabic genies. You could call it
What are they called?
That's not where
bush
the
people?
concept of magic originally came
In
from.
South
People
Africa
used to believe that it was the literal demon possession, and that the demon was taking
chupacabra
over
in
your
South
body
America,
and doing
Wendigo
things with magic
in North
in
America.
your human body. It's a demon in human form. You could call it
wouldn't that
Christianity.
technically
You
just be a
could
dragon
also
in
call
human
it
form in that case?
Arabic genies. You
Potentially.
could call it
Sure, it could be.
Because
the
I mean, if
same
you
way.
see a
what are they
giant
called?
thing
The
in
bush
the sky,
people.
and it's ancient times,
In,
what are you
South
gonna
Africa?
think? Like, oh, it's a giant beast, it's a monster, it's a demon.
Chupacabra in South America, Wendigo in North America. It's a demon in human form.
No.
Why
No,
not?
because they have
It
different
could be
legends for
the same
different
way.
types of dragons from all over the place. But they don't
Okay,
always
you can have different
coincide.
types of
They don't
demons.
always coincide with them being demonic or even.
Who said demons
looking
have to be
kind of
demonic
similar.
though?
It's in the
No.
name.
So I mean, there could be
No,
good
because
demons,
because they
bad
have different
demons.
legends
their
for
core
different types of
concept is
dragons
being
from
an
all over the
testament to
place.
evil.
But they don't
In
always
like a
coincide.
fantasy game, sure,
they
you
don't
could
always
mix that
coincide
around,
with
but
them
the
being
core concept is that
demonic
evil is evil
or,
and a demon is
or a visual, physical,
even
metaphysical
kind of
representation of evil. So
Yeah, but I mean,
it's in the name.
what's truly evil?
I could name quite a few things pretty easily.
Their
that are like an
their
No,
core
oh, that's a
concept is
stupid
being a
question.
testament
That's a
to
stupid
evil.
question.
It might
in,
be.
in like a fantasy game, sure, you could mix
I
that
could name a
around, but
couple of things
the
that are
core
truly
concept is
evil,
that
so that's
evil
a
is
dumb
evil
question.
and
Ignore
a
that
demon is
question.
a visual, physical, metaphysical representation of
Yeah,
evil.
no, dragons. Let's go back to dragons because
I didn't think we ever left dragons.
We were talking
I
about
could name
demons.
quite a few things pretty easily that are like
No, I'm
inherently
saying
evil.
that there's other myths that
Yeah,
like
it
coincide
might
with
be.
the whole like, oh well, where'd the magic come from? There's other places that suggest the same thing but differently.
yes, but I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the dragons, dude.
I didn't think we ever left dragons.
Because I understand there's other myths saying, oh well, they.
No,
where
I'm
magic
saying that
came
there's
from
other
and
myths
whatnot.
that
But
like,
I'm not talking about
coincide
those
with the
myths.
whole like,
I'm talking
oh
about
well,
the ones
where'd
that
the
are related
magic
to
come from? There's other places that suggest the same
Those
thing.
ones
but
aren't
differently.
really mythical, though. Those are modern interpretations.
Mm,
Like when's the last time you heard somebody talking about dragons in ancient times? Those ones aren't really mythical, though. Those
So,
are
You know when the
other
most
modern
recent
interpretations.
reference to dragons was? I know a lot about
no,
this because
but-
I'm a fucking nerd. The last reference to a dragon was actually
Like
in the
when's the last
1400s.
time you heard somebody
was,
talking
an
expedition planned to
about
go up into the
dragons
Alps to kill a
in-
dragon?
in,
Everybody from that
ancient time.
expedition died, but we found their bodies since then, and they died of hypothermia up in the Alps.
You know when
They
the
didn't
most
bring enough
recent
food or
recent
shelter.
reference to dragons was?
sounds like
I
they
know a
did
lot
not
about
prepare
this
for the
because I'm a
dragon
fucking
then.
nerd.
Yeah, they fought a frost dragon.
The
and
last
lost.
reference
It
to
sounds
a
like they
dragon was
didn't
actually
prepare to
in the
climb the
1400s.
Alps. It was an expedition planned to go up
They
into the
fought a
Alps to
battle
kill a
of the mountains
dragon.
and lost, let's be
Everybody
real.
from that expedition died.
Yeah,
Controls
that
on the
was
way to
the
the
most
dragon.
recent.
We found their bodies
period in
since
time,
then, and they died of
that's not
hypothermia up in the Alps. They didn't bring enough
any
food
time
or shelter.
recently where anything had been attributed to dragons. Prior to that, you can look in
It sounds like they didn't prepare
North
to climb the
America.
Alps.
and then Eastern Asia.
Yeah, that was
But it was kind
the
of like
most
one of those
recent
sweeping
period in
myths
time
that
and that's not
everybody kind of had their phase with it.
and
Any
then
time
kept
recently
going on.
where anything had been
Well,
attributed.
okay, but what if there
dragons.
were
Prior to that,
dragons,
you can
not
look
just
in
like the dinosaurs? What if there
North
were dragons and we
America,
just hunted them to extinction,
I
they
would-
had the ability
I
to
would
transfer
hope that we
Asia,
could
you know.
like find their bones or something.
But it was
I
kind
mean,
of like
there's
one of
so
those
many different
sweeping myths.
if
fossils
you're gonna say that they turned
creatures
kind
out
of had
there.
their
If they
phase
turned
with it,
into,
like
and then
humanoids,
kept going on.
and then just are living among us as humanoids, like you know how cool it'd be to be a dragon in the 21st century. You'd
I
fuck
mean,
shit
it'd be
up.
pretty-
Nobody would ever talk down on you ever. Like you're a
Well,
dragon.
and the thing about it
I
is,
would-
how would they know?
I would
because
hope
like
that we
everyone
could
would
like
just
find
brush
their
you off and go,
bones or
ah,
something.
dragons,
you turn into a fucking dragon.
If you're
And
gonna
if
if
you're
you're gonna say
humanoid,
that they
sorry.
turned in,
If you're a
if
humanoid
they
that can't turn into a
like
dragon,
humanoids,
you're just a human.
and then just are living
Sorry.
among us
Right.
as humanoids. Like
So,
you know
but
how
if you
cool
could
it'd
turn
be to
into
be
a dragon,
in the
someone's gonna
21st
look at you and be
century.
like, ah, that's CGI.
Fuck shit up.
That's not real.
Nobody would ever
talk
Yeah,
down.
nowadays,
on
you could take a
ever,
photo of that and
you're a
nobody would
dragon.
believe you.
Right? Exactly. Like, if you were going to be a dragon in the 21st
You
century,
turn
I
into
feel
a
like this
you
was
turn
probably
into a
the
fucking dragon,
safest
and
way
if you're a
to
humanoid that if you're a
Well, no,
humanoid
if you
that
wanted
can't
the
turn
world
into
to
a
know
dragon,
that you're a dragon,
just
it
a
would be
human.
pretty easy to be like,
Sorry,
I'm a dragon. Watch me turn into a dragon and then fly over all of these cities with all of these people and have millions of witnesses right
Then-
now.
And then it gets shot down because you're in restricted airspace.
Yeah, you might want to watch where you fly, but
you might.
Maybe.
think about it like this:
No,
if
if you wanted
Godzilla
the
was
world
real
to
and
know that
attacking
you're a
Tokyo
dragon,
every
it would be
few
pretty
years,
easy to be
so
like,
we can make
I'm
more
a
movies,
dragon.
watch me turn into a dragon and then
we
fly
would
over
know.
all of these cities with all
wouldn't
of these
be,
people
Would we though?
and have millions
Would
of
we?
witnesses right now.
I
How do we know
feel
the
like
movies aren't actually news coverage stories?
Yeah, you might
they're
wanna
not.
watch where you fly,
However, would
but-
we really, with all the shit that happens and that we're told on a daily basis?
Think about it like
are you
this: if
sure it's not
Godzilla was
something that you
real
would
and
just
attacking
go,
Tokyo every few years,
Oh,
so
we might
could
just
make
go,
more movies,
but
it would be there.
we would know.
Like, it wouldn't be. You would hear about it every now and then, the way you hear about a hurricane hitting the
Oh my god.
peninsula of Florida over America.
Right.
You hear about it every year because they happen every year, but
Oh, it's dragons.
it doesn't mean they matter to you. Like, it's a hurricane. You'd be like,
Oh,
oh,
we might just go,
dragon.
but
Either way, you'd still
would be
know
there,
it, even if you
like-
didn't care. You would
I
hear
mean-
about it every now
You're
and
like,
then.
oh,
the way
dragons.
you hear about a hurricane hitting.
Those are real. Okay,
Moving on with
The-
my life because it doesn't affect me right now. Peninsula.
Oh,
I
of
feel
a
like
hurricane.
we're
Those are real. That's
over
right.
America. You hear about it
doesn't
every
affect
year
me
'cause
right
they
now,
happen
so
every
I don't
year,
fucking
but-
care. What do I care?
It doesn't mean they matter to
I don't
you.
live
No, I
there.
feel like
It's a
I
hurricane.
feel like people would
You'd
just
be
kind
like,
of dig
oh,
their head in the sand, like they
dragon.
do a lot
And you
of
see,
things
either
in
way,
life.
you'd still
movie
know
District
it,
9?
even if you didn't care.
I have, yes.
Yeah. The whole
like, oh,
world
dragons
knows
as
that there's
well.
aliens
Those are
right
real.
there.
Okay, moving on
Nobody
with my
fucking
life
cares.
because it doesn't affect me right now.
Because they don't matter. They
Oh,
don't
a
affect your daily
hurricane.
life.
Those are real. That's right.
Much like how the
it doesn't
government
affect
said
me right
aliens
now,
are
so
real.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
fucking
government.
care.
care.
Yeah,
What
the
do I
U.S.
care?
government comes out and is like,
I don't
"Oh,
live there."
aliens are real. We don't know what the fuck that is flying over there." And all of us are
Have
just
you
like,
seen? Have you seen the movie
They
District
also
9?
said that
Okay,
parallel,
thanks.
parallel universes are real.
uh,
It's just like, all right.
the whole world
of
knows
course
that
they
there's
are.
aliens right
You
there.
can't prove they're not real.
Nobody fucking cares.
I mean, you can't.
Because they don't matter. They
So,
don't affect
I
your
mean, they
daily
must be
life.
real then.
According to our current understanding of
Yeah, the government.
reality,
Yeah, the U.S. government
any
comes out and is
reality
like,
that
"Oh,
can
aliens are real.
does
We don't know what the
exist. We
fuck
just
that is
happen to live
flying
in
over
this
there."
one.
And
And all of us
Like-
are just
That's
like,
great.
you should be happy
Cool.
you live in this one
Okay,
instead of
thanks.
the one where fucking Hitler was a girl in one or some shit. I don't know what to tell you.
We could be the color
I
purple.
don't know. That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Um,
It would be
well,
super
what's that
interesting
timeline
to
like?
go
According
go
to our
observe
current
those
understanding
timelines,
of
but you're happy to live in this one. Any reality that can does exist.
Am I
We just
though?
happen to live in this.
Are
one.
you though?
Am
Fucking- That's great.
Am I
You should be
to
happy
live
you
in
live in
one?
this one instead of the
Just
one
become
where
more
fucking,
intelligent.
Become Rick Sanchez.
Hitler was a girl in
build
one
your
or
portal
some
gun. Go visit
I don't
your
know what to tell you.
dragons.
If
You
only
know
it were
what?
that easy.
Yeah, it'd be
100%.
fantastic. It
Maybe
would
I
be
should ask
super
my kid to
interesting
do
to
that.
go observe those timelines.
do
but
it.
You're happy to live.
I'm
in this
tempted
one.
to
He
say
might.
we remove nudity from our third section and replace it with
Are you
education.
though?
Education. Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's
Why?
a spicy topic.
Become
Yeah,
more
that's
intelligent. Become Rick Sanchez. Build your portal gun. Go visit your dragons.
All because, I mean, we could. I have things to say about education.
I have nothing
I'm
good
sure
to
you
say.
do. You live in the state of California.
I'm tempted
where,
to say we remove
what was it?
nudity
Woke
from our third
kindergarten is
section and
officially a
replace it with
thing, and it's
education.
also a success by their
Yeah,
very
that's why.
specific metric that they have in place, where
Man, just
all
leave
of the
the kids
scores are
alone.
becoming lower.
Yeah,
Let
no,
the kids be
I
kids.
I'm not the biggest fan.
I'm
of,
sure you
especially
do.
in my
You live in
school
the state of
district. All right,
California
let's
where-
change the topic from
What
We're
was
going
it?
to
Woke
education now?
kindergarten
Yeah,
is
let's
officially
move on.
Fuck
a thing,
nudity, we're
and
talking
it's
about
also,
education.
We can talk
a
about nudity
success
anytime.
by their
So the
very
education,
specific metric
like, that
that they
flushed
have in
the fuck
place,
out of me. So at the beginning
where
of the
all of the
school year,
scores are
in my
becoming
son's school
lower.
district, I got a note because we know he's in elementary school, so I got a note email from his school district saying, "Hey, by the way, we're changing
Yep,
all
we're
of
going to
the kids,
education
all
now.
the,
Yeah,
all like
fuck
the
nudity. We're
elementary
talking about
school times
education.
from 8:05
Yeah.
to 7:45. That way, the high school students can have more time to sleep in and get to school at like 8:39." And I'm sitting there going, "My kid is not a morning person. My kid doesn't do this." And so he's been, I'm ashamed to say this, but he's been late almost every single day this year by like 5 minutes because it's impossible to get him out of bed.
That sounds like a failure on your part.
I mean, it can sound like a failure on my part.
No,
absolutely,
my mom did the exact same thing with my younger brother. She just said, I can't wake him up in the morning. And the truth is it was you're allowing him to take advantage of the fact that you're not going to force him to get up.
You know
No,
what
because he
my
goes
dad
to
did?
Pull off the fucking sandal. Beat his ass. He'll get out of bed.
My dad would just pour
That sounds
water
like a
on me
failure
until
on
I
your
got out of
part.
bed.
So that'll get him up. Like, no, my mom did the exact same thing.
Then
with
he
my
would
dad.
also make me
She
change
said,
my
I
bed
can't wake
sheets.
him up. I might
in the
be
morning,
a
and
special
the
interest
truth
case because
I
I
was
was
the
you're
kid that
allowing
wanted
him
to
to take
wake up at
advantage of
6
the
o'clock
fact
in the
that you're
morning
not
and
going
was
to
excited to
force
learn.
him to get up. But I also went to a charter school.
Pull
Not
off
public
the fucking
education.
sandal.
Beat his ass. He'll get out of bed. And I learned shit that I cared about. Not my last couple years of high school.
that'll get him
where I
up.
was back in public education, but prior to that,
I might be
I was
a
learning
special
things I was
interest
excited
case
to learn
because
about.
I was the
learn
kid
about.
that wanted to
Sounds
wake up
me
at
like
6 o'clock in the morning
your
and
kid
was
has
excited
no
to learn.
motivation to go to school.
But I also
and a lot of
I
that
also went
probably
to a
has
charter
to do
school.
with how they're teaching,
not
what they're
public
teaching.
education.
Oh yeah, no. So my son
and
will
I learned shit
go
that I
through,
cared about.
for example,
not
last
my
week. So
last
he
couple
went
years of
through
high
up until
school
he's
where I
stuck
was
on
back
diet.
in.
He went through all of his.
I hate to interrupt you. Public
Kyle,
education.
our points
but
disseminator.
Prior to
You
that,
haven't
I was learning things I was excited to learn about, quarter way through. It sounds to me like our first
I could
episode.
be
Your kid has
quietly
no
distributing
motivation to
points.
go to school.
Well,
and
I have
lot of
a
that
counter
probably
up
has to
here
do
on the
with
screen so
how they're
people can
teaching
keep
and what they're
track.
teaching.
You know, you can have a point for reminding me.
Awesome. Free point for reminding him that we gotta interrupt you.
points.
Kyle, our points
Love
disseminator. You haven't disseminated
That's
any
great.
points, and we're about a
100%.
quarter way through
Good going, Lolo.
our first episode.
Rainey, you can have a point for the sarcasm.
Well, I have a counter up here on the
Yes.
screen so people can keep track.
Your points mean nothing to me.
Listen, I'm a millionaire
Awesome.
over here.
Free point for
He
reminding
won't
him
call
that
the
we gotta
points.
keep
He's
track
the
of
point
points.
God. No,
Love it.
the point master.
Something
The
like
master of
that.
the points.
Point distributor. Yeah. Giving
Um,
him a title is gonna make him. Giving him a title that sounds important is gonna make him
Your
really
points
cocky,
mean
and he
nothing
can't
to
have
me.
that.
Yeah, like the mediator.
Are you
Yeah.
really mediating though? Let's.
I mean, am I?
Are you?
I don't know.
Well,
Something like that. Point
let's
distributor.
continue. Let's see if you need to mediate.
Giving him a title
I'm
is
gonna
gonna
need
make
you to
him,
stop right
giving
there.
him a title that sounds important is gonna make him really cocky.
Yeah,
He
so
can't have
my
that.
education was anything but typical.
All right, nobody
And-
cares. Moving on.
And now,
No, I'm kidding.
fuck you. Well, now
Are you?
I'm seeing on my taxes how much of that goes to the school district I live next to. I don't have kids yet. They don't go to school there. If I did have kids, I wouldn't send them to school there. But like half of my property taxes gets given to the school.
Yeah, so my education was anything but typical.
That's a bunch of horseshit. And now,
fuck them kids.
fuck
Those aren't my
you.
kids.
Their parents can.
well,
now
give them an
I'm seeing
education.
on my taxes how much of that goes
the way
to
I-
the
the
school
way I see it,
district
I'm
I live
very
next
pro,
to. I don't have kids.
private
yet.
schools. The
I
idea
don't go to
that
school there. If you want your child,
if I did
to
have
have
kids,
a
I wouldn't
good
send them to
education,
school there.
You're
but,
not gonna.
like,
Half of my property taxes
ask
gets
the
given to the
state to do
school.
it.
What does the state do that's worth a shit? If you want your
That's a
child
bunch
to have
of
a good
horseshit.
education, you're gonna get them a good education.
fuck them kids.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
aren't
no,
my kids.
Their parents can fucking.
I agree with
give
you
them an
for
education.
the most part.
It's the way
problem
I
with
see it.
is
I'm very
private
pro.
schools cost money.
Yeah.
private
And I don't
schools.
have
The
that
idea
money.
That's
if
because you
want
live
your
in
child
California.
to have a good education, you're not gonna.
Is Brody trying to say hi?
Ask the state
Brody
to
is
do
trying
it.
to say
What does
hi.
the state do that's worth a shit? If you want your child to have a good education, you're gonna
Hi,
get
Brody.
them a good education.
Rainey, you get a point for dog showing up.
A dog. Dog's free points. Let me go open my gate. My dog won't leave if I let her in. Yeah.
I can't
That's
see what's
because you
happening,
live
so
in
I'm just assuming
California.
here.
There's a little bit of dog. Is Brody trying to say hi?
Good boy. Good boy.
Hi, Brody.
And even then, the public education options that are available if you
A
want to
dog-
throw your kid. Now we got online
Dog's
schooling.
free points.
Fantastic.
Let me go open my gate. My
The charter
dog
school I went
won't
to was
leave if I
online.
let
It
her
did
in.
great things for me. My little brother, when he lived with me, I put him in an online school because I knew
There's
he'd
a
get
little-
himself
there's a little
kicked
bit
out
of
of a
dog.
public school.
Right.
He's not self-motivated enough to do an online school.
Mm-hmm.
And even
So
then,
he failed all
the
of his
public
classes.
education options that are available if you want to throw your kid.
Ooh.
Now we got online schooling. It's fantastic.
It doesn't matter.
The charter school
like
I
you
went
were
to was
saying,
online.
like that
It did
kid
great
that
things for
just
me.
doesn't want to get up.
My little brother,
I
when
made
he
him
lived
get
with
up
me,
at the same
I
time
put him
every
in an
day.
online school
It didn't
because
do
I
any
knew he'd
good
get
'cause
himself
he
kicked out
has
of a
no
public
self
school.
motivation. What you got to do is you got to really start.
He's not
teaching your kid to
self-motivated enough to do it.
He's
got
got to want to get up and go to school. What's he going to do when he's got a
So
job?
he failed
He's got
all
to
of his
want to get
classes.
up and go to work. And if he doesn't
Right.
want to get up and go to work, he's not going to. It doesn't
Well,
matter.
it's helped
like
a
you
lot,
were saying, like that
especially,
kid that just doesn't want to
with
get up. I made him get up at the
having
same
an
time
official
every day.
diagnosis
It didn't do
with
any good
everything.
because he has no
It's
self-motivation.
because his teachers
What you
are
got to do
actually,
is you got to really
his
start teaching your
teachers,
kid to
like, actually
self-motivate. He's got to want to
going
get up and
through
go to school.
starting to make it interesting.
What's he going to
in
do
a
when he's
way
got a
that he'll
job? He's
learn
got to
it
want to get
properly.
up and
Like,
go to
not
work. And
properly,
if he
but,
doesn't
like,
want
make it more
to get up and go to
entertaining
work,
for him to
he's not going to.
keep learning. Which I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place. But what I've also been noticing is that, so like, continuing my story.
When you say diagnosis, what do you mean, like, with? I don't mean to pry too much.
Autism, his autistic diagnosis, because he didn't have an official diagnosis until January, even though.
Yeah, you and I
Ask
still
anyone.
don't have official diagnosis. It doesn't mean anything.
Right, but because they have that official diagnosis,
no,
like the
when you
schools
say
finally
diagnosis, what do you
doing
mean?
something
What,
about it.
what did you want them to do about it? You I don't mean wanted to them pry to too much. Treat him with kid gloves, or
No,
make
I
the
wanted
material
them
more
to-
engaging. Like, what can they do to make him want to learn? Is the question. Yeah, you and I
so
still don't
he's
have
a
official
hands-on
diagnosis. It
learner.
doesn't mean anything.
So he's a
and they've been doing bookwork stuff.
So he's a boy. He learns like a
Yes.
typical boy. He wants to go outside and grab a stick
What-
and hit
what
it
did you
against
want
a
them to
tree.
do
about it? You wanted
Yes.
them to treat
That's
it
a-
with
but
kids
he doesn't do
gloves,
that.
or
It's a very
make
typical way
make the
for
material
most
more
boys to wanna
engaging.
learn.
Like, what
The
can they do to
education
make
system
him
is
want? Kind of is the question. Skewed in a more feminine direction. You think 70%
So he's
of educators are
so he's a
female.
boy.
He learns like a typical boy. He wants to go
The majority
outside
of the board
and
of
grab a
education
stick
is
and
made
hit
up
it
of
against
females.
a tree. It's going to be skewed towards a female's
That's a-
education than it is a male's.
It's a very typical way for
it's
most
intentional
boys to want to learn.
It's
just
just
confirmation
confirmation
bias.
bias. Kind of, I would learn like this, so this is the right way to learn. In a more feminine
Right,
direction.
but there's multiple ways of learning.
70%
Is the
of
problem.
Well, that's exactly what I'm
educators
saying.
Are female. Like, I'm sure he could
The majority of the
become a
board of
master of
education is made
physics
up of
within a
females.
year
It's
if
gonna be
so skewed towards
it
it
was
was
taught
taught
to him
in
in
a way that he thought was interesting.
males.
Not because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's intentional.
So, for example, like
it's
he's
just
been finishing all
confirmation
this stuff in
bias.
class,
I would
right?
learn like this, so this is the right way to learn.
And I've been checking over his homework, and it's just like, this is all correct. So what did you do for
Well, that's
homework?
exactly what
I
I'm
bought
saying.
him for Christmas a
Like,
Russian
I'm sure
alphabet
the
workbook.
idea. I'm sure he could
been working on
become a
that
master
instead.
of physics within a year if so.
like after his
it
homework.
was
was
taught
done.
to him
February,
in a
how
way
much
that he
Russian
thought was
does he know?
interesting.
He can write out half the alphabet,
Half the
by
alphabet.
memory.
Okay.
and he started end of December.
Why Russian?
It was just something that he wanted to learn. I made a passing comment that his dad knew Russian. Oh.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's February. How much Russian does he know? I figure you
So.
would have stuck him on a more
Half the
useful
alphabet?
language like
Okay.
Spanish or Mandarin.
Oh yeah, no. Mandarin is
Esperanto.
next
Russian.
on the list. I would have gotten him more Mandarin workbooks, except he lost half of them that I bought him. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
I figured
they
you
were
would have
lost in the
stuck
move.
him on a more
You want him to learn, right?
useful
You know that
language
he
like,
doesn't
learn
Oh, yeah.
Spanish or Mandarin.
You're
his parent. You know that he doesn't learn from book learning. He wants to get his hands on things.
Yeah, no, he wants to get his hands on things. He's not the best with like textbook learning. So like for example, if he's wanting to learn how something
You
works,
want him to learn, right?
he
You know
will
that he doesn't learn. You're
try to
his
take things
parent. You
apart
know that he
and put
doesn't
them
learn
back
from
together.
book learning. He wants to get his hands on things.
for like as not even for
Well,
like
he's
Christmas
already
and stuff.
sounding like somebody that would excel with like an apprenticeship rather than.
Oh, did I tell you he has like drawn up designs for an underwater radar?
Here's my question:
Yeah.
are they like? Well, he's already sounding like somebody
Just
that would excel with like an
pictures?
apprenticeship. Are they
Uh,
rather than?
Kinda. So he went through and he's like, this is what it's supposed to do. This is what it's supposed to look like, and then this is what it's supposed to look like on the inside. I'm like, how are you gonna make this happen? He's like,
Here's
I
my
have no
question.
idea, but I'm gonna find out. And now
look
my
into
Does he happen to-
like look
Does he
into
happen to?
breadboard Get him a breadboard.
Pictures?
And an engineering kit.
I am working on that. His birthday's coming up, so
You can get a pretty decent one for like $30 on Amazon. You want him to learn electric engineering? It's better to start while he's showing an interest in it. Look into
oh yeah, so
breadboard.
I agree
Get
with
him
you.
a breadboard. And an engineering
I had
kit.
no idea.
It's gonna
I was
break his heart when he finds out that already exists.
You can get a pretty decent one for like
Let him live his
$30 on
dream.
Amazon.
He's only
I think
nine.
I think it's more
You want him
interesting
to
to
learn
learn. He's immediately going to something like
electric
sonar
engineering?
or radar. It's
Yeah,
better to start while he's showing an interest.
So
in it.
I
Not because
told
there's
him
anything
that-
special about sonar or radar. I think that our future in technology is going to be about learning how different vibrations interact with the environment.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, according to you, everything is vibration. Well,
Yeah,
according to a
I
lot
think
of
it-
people,
I think
everything
it's
is
more
vibrations.
interesting.
No,
He's
according to
immediately
Lolo,
going
it's
to something
triangles.
like sonar
gotta be
or
triangles.
radar.
It's all that's triangles.
That's a spectrum. Not because there's
Theory
anything
more than it
special
is
about
triangles.
sonar or
Triangles is
radar.
just how I
could
could
think
figure
that,
out how to
our future in
explain it to you.
technology is going to be about learning how different vibrations interact with the environment.
Keep him interested because that's exactly what school's going to do. Is
Yeah.
it's going to stifle his desire to know more.
Yeah.
Because what they're going to
Well,
want to teach him is
gotta
shit
be
he's not going to care about.
triangles,
knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So
That's a
he
spectrum
didn't care about any
theory
sort of
more than
math
it is
or
triangles.
science
Triangles
until I
is just
told
how I
him
could
that
figure
if
out
he
how
wanted
to
to go
explain
into
it to
certain
you.
things, because at first he wanted to be a biologist and then a marine biologist and then
Keep him
all this. I'm like, you
interested
have to
because
know
that's
things
exactly
about
what school's going to
science
do
and
is it's going to
makeup of
stifle his
everything.
desire to know
You have
more.
to know how to calculate
Because
things.
what they're going to want
not
to teach
math.
is shit
much
he's
as
not
you
going to care
think.
about knowing.
Well,
so
it got
it's
him
common-
interested in those things.
it's
so
really- It's really commonplace to say you need to like know these certain things to progress this field or however you want to put it, but like less than 100 years ago, our concept of math not as much as you think compared to what it is today. Like
So it's
we
common.
used Newtonian
It's really-
physics to get on the moon.
It's really
commonplace
commonplace
to say you need to
like
know
the
these
same
certain
concept
things
of
to
gravity that Isaac
progress
Newton
this
developed.
field or
And our understanding of that today is
however you
dramatically
wanna
different
put
to
it,
then.
but
so,
like
so knowing what's applicable
less than
and
100
what's
years
real
ago, our
is
concept
not
of math
as important as knowing how
compared
useful
to what
it is
to know.
today. Like we used
right,
we used
and
Newtonian
I get that. However,
physics to get on the
explaining that to someone
moon.
who's learning
To get from here to the
multiplication and
moon.
division.
The same concept
Well, yeah,
of
what
gravity
I'm
that Isaac
pointing out
Newton
is
developed.
like if he's
And our
interested
understanding
in
of that
knowing
today
these
is
things,
dramatically different
than
then.
like
So
actually
knowing
teach him
what's
the whole
applicable
thing,
and what's
like, if he
real
wants to learn about
is not as
electrical
important
engineering
as knowing how useful
make him learn
it
how
is
to do
know.
it with his hands, not the numbers, because nobody cares about the numbers. The numbers don't mean anything to a boy who wants to get his hands on things. What'll mean something?
Well, yeah, what I'm
is
what I'm
getting the
pointing
little
out
green
is,
light at the end
is
of,
like
at
if
the end
he's
of
interested
his,
in knowing these things,
array to turn
then
on,
like
that'll
actually
mean
teach
something
him
to him.
the whole thing. Like if he wants to learn about,
I say that
electrical
from a
engineering,
level of experience.
make
I
him learn
didn't
how
care
to do
about
it with his hands,
electrical
not the
engineering at
numbers,
all
because nobody
when I
cares
was
about the
taking
numbers.
courses
The numbers
in it.
don't mean anything
Until
to
I
a boy
actually
who
sat
wants
down
to
and
get his
played with my
hands on
breadboard.
things.
I was like, oh, okay,
What'll
this is
mean
kinda cool.
something is getting the little green
I
light.
still
at
don't
the
care
end
about
of,
it.
at the end of his.
It's not what I wanted to go to school for in the first
array
place.
to turn on,
But it's
that'll
interesting.
mean something.
And if
to
it's
him.
something he wants to know about, get his hands on something.
I
'Cause
say
then he
that
won't
from a
lose
level of
interest.
experience. I
Right.
didn't care about electrical engineering
you've
at
earned a
all
point.
when I was taking courses in it.
Until I
starting to
actually
realize
sat
I
down and
just
played with my
shouldn't say
breadboard. I
what
was like,
for.
oh, okay, this is kind of cool.
Because then everybody
I
else is
still don't
going to
care
try
about
to be
it.
doing it, and then
It's
No,
not
you
what I
don't need
wanted
to
go
say
school
what we
for
got
in the
in
first
the
place.
first place. Your job is
But it's
You
solely
could be
to
like,
tell us
you
that
have
if
a
it's something
point.
he wants to
Like,
know about, get his hands
You could
on
give me
something.
a point just because
then
I'm
he
pretty.
won't
I
lose
mean,
interest.
but then you have to give Lolo a point because he's also kind of okay.
You need to lose points right now because that's cringe as shit.
I can't see either of you, so
Lolo,
that's
you
not
just
gonna
imagine
work.
No, you don't need
what
to say what we
points
got
Yeah,
points
exactly.
for.
Your job is
It's
solely
okay,
to
that's
tell
what
us
Emily
how many
for.
points we get.
100%, totally. She's the beauty, you're the beast.
You know she wants to be an educator. She's almost done with school. She's
You
about to
need
go
to
into
lose
student
points
teaching
right now
She's
'cause that's
very
cringe as
nervous.
She can do it. I have faith in her.
That's what I keep
Are you-
telling her. Is like, you've gotten
What?
this far. You're gonna be fine. Just
Mhm.
keep doing it.
what
Yeah.
age group
Yeah,
is she
exactly.
looking at?
She's
okay,
looking.
that's what
I
Emily's
think
for.
right now she's looking at early childhood education, She's working with kindergartners right now. She wants to be an educator. And she's almost done with school. She wants them to be a little older. She's very nervous, but I don't know how much. That's what I keep telling her. Is like you've got. Because she wants to actually find
older. Then she's probably looking at 1st or 2nd grade.
Yeah. She's looking. I think right now she's looking at early childhood education. High schoolers. She's working with kindergartners right for one. And
so I
think she wants them to be a little older.
That if,
but I don't know how much
things weren't working out, or if something happens.
Because she wants to actually teach them.
I'll take him out and I'll put him in a charter school. That's actually something my sister ended up doing, and I've always said that he and my sister, like, if I didn't know for a fact that he came out of me and I
she'd be mistaken for one.
I would think he's my sister's kid. But she had several learning disabilities, and anxiety and all this shit. And she ended up in a charter school and she excelled. So I was like, look, you have to do this. You have to go into school. If something goes on though, we'll do something else. Like, because if you're not learning in this specific way, then we'll do something else. Because you need to, I want you to be interested in learning. So earlier today, because he's homesick, he and I sat down and had a whole conversation about like ancient civilizations and stuff, and he's like, yeah, no, I think it'd be really cool if they did this and this and this and this.
Well, if he's somebody who's interested in learning and wants to know things, he might be a really good candidate for a charter school or for an online school or even for homeschooling. If he's somebody who's going to wake up in the morning and go, I want to learn about this today. And you as a parent, your goal should be to make sure that what he's learning is going to be... Well, if he's somebody who's interested in learning and wants to know your main goal be a really good to make sure that it's something he's going to be able to use in life to survive. Or even for homeschooling. If he wants to learn about ancient civilizations, that's cool. Wake up better have multiplication and division down first, though. And you as a parent, your goal should be to make sure that what he's learning is going to be...
It's just so, but that's why I have him in public school right now. Even though
your main goal should be to make sure that it's something he's going to be able to use in life to survive. If he wants to learn about ancient civilizations, that's cool. He better have multiplication and division down first. If he's as bored as you're making him sound to be, then you need to take him out of public education. I was dreadfully bored. Either that, or tell them to put him in accelerated courses. Tell him to have him skip a year. Something. I was super bored learning at school. In like kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. If he's as bored I never learned to read. You're making I didn't know how to read until 3rd grade. Then by the end of 3rd grade, I was reading at a college public education. I was dreadfully excited to be there. Either that, or tell them to put him in accelerated. No, you need to have the right. Tell him to have him skipping teaching the right subjects in the right way. I was super bored. As soon as I was taught why learning at school thing to do. In like kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, not that hard. I never learned to read. I didn't know how to read until 3rd grade. So somebody doesn't know how to read. By the end of 3rd grade, I was reading at a college level. If the education system's failing them, excited to be there, you're not going to pick anything up.
No,
you need to have the right teachers teaching the right subjects in the right way. As soon as I was taught why reading was a cool thing to do, picked it up like that because reading's not that hard for us. We're a pretty intelligent species. So if somebody doesn't know how to read,
I'm thinking about when that came
out. If the education system's failing them, or they're next time I actually really saw Shrek in theaters.
I did not see Shrek in theaters.
Shit. You're old enough to remember it being in theaters, though.
I saw it on VHS though. So I remember when it came out in theaters though, but that doesn't help my case.
No, it doesn't.
But
next time I'm gonna ask you if you went and saw Shrek in theaters.
Every step of the way for me to
fucking
get
old as shit. You're old enough to remember it being in theaters though.
And then it was just a downward spiral. Yeah. Now I'm reading, what I read now. Moving on. So, however, my son didn't start actually getting into books and reading up until about 6 months ago, when my mom came home and with a bunch of Hardy Boys books, which I looked at them and I'm like, this is above his reading level, or where his reading level.
Well, it was above his reading level because he didn't care about reading.
Yes, So he devoured them in a weekend and then looked at me
How
and said,
how's
Mama,
he with math?
he's much better with math now. He actually just got an award for math.
I bet if you gave him a reason to be interested in math, he'd be a lot better at it.
Probably.
We have just crossed the 20.
Well, it was
minute
above
mark
his
for this
reading
subject.
level,
Yeah,
because he didn't care about
I was
reading.
about to say that we're getting close to the end of the subject, but
How's
speaking
he
of things
with
that
math?
typically you need to put your hands on before you can develop an opinion of, our next topic
I
is
bet
guns.
if you gave him a reason to be
I own a lot
interested
of
in
them.
math, he'd be a lot better at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I've shot guns. I've been told I'm a really good
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
So
I was
whoever
about
told
to
you
other than
say
that,
that
I know
we're,
nothing
we're
about
getting
them.
I'm gonna
Close
close
to
to
the
the
end
end
of
of the subject, but
they were flattering you.
they were
Speaking
trying
of
to lie to
things
you.
that typically you need to put
No,
your
I
hands
have-
on
I
before
have
you
the,
can develop an
the
opinion
thingies,
of, our next
the-
topic is guns. I own a lot of them. The thingies.
The participation awards.
Yeah, those ones.
Oh, I have the papers that they put on and it goes super far. and then
Whoever
you
told
bring
you
it back.
that.
I have
I'd tell you
those
to,
to
I'd
prove
tell you
it
to
now.
show them. You can show them to me later.
Yeah. They were trying to lie to you.
If you
I'd
shot
have to
one
find 'em.
time and somebody said you were pretty good at it, it was luck.
Probably. I'm not
The
gonna lie.
thingies.
It was probably luck.
Yeah,
But
ones.
my ex-husband, has the professional military training. We were shooting beer cans off.
I'd tell you to
the
show
railing, which
them.
was, like,
You can show them to
50
me
yards
later.
away in our house in Texas.
If you shot one
and we
time
just
and
had
somebody
open
said
field
you were
behind
pretty
it,
good
and
at
he
it,
couldn't hit a single one of them.
it
And
was
I'm like,
luck.
he's like, there's something wrong with this thing. And I'm like, hand it to me. And so I shot each and every single one off the fence, and it was. I handed it back to him, and he's like, "How the fuck did you do that?" I'm like, "How the fuck did you not do that?"
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, I have questions about that. I'm not getting answers because we don't speak, but I have questions.
Kyle can attest to this. Being in the military does not make you a good shot.
I was never in the military.
Oh shit, that's
But
right.
I
Why did I think
do
you were?
because I know too much about the military.
Okay.
And he's friends with people in the military.
That and the other
However,
Kyle.
that is
in the
entirely
military.
true. Being in the military does not mean you're a good shot.
So Kyle can
Everybody's a
attest to
rifleman.
this. Being in the military does not
best
make you a
shooter
good shot.
I know
has never been in the military.
Shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Why did I think
never-
you
never
were?
fun.
Wants to be. He just started shooting because he thought
Okay.
it was fun. That and the other Kyle
he's easily the
is-
best shot
is in the
I know.
military.
So
I don't like to talk him up,
the
so I'm not going to say who he is.
best
but
shooter I know.
I will
has
never
never
let
been in
him
the
know
military.
to his face that I think he's the best shot I know because he would
never-
it would get
never
in his
wants
head
to
the
be.
same way it would mine.
He just
started
he
shooting
can't know.
because he thought it was fun.
He
just
can't.
just
know.
can never know, right?
And he's easily the
Yeah,
best shot.
even if
I
he
know.
does actively know it in his head, I will never say it out loud. I like to.
And-
I don't
You
like to
never
talk
know
him
his
up,
greatness.
so I'm
As
not going to say
far
who
as
he
he
is,
needs to know,
but I believe myself to be as good as he is.
I will never let
And it's
him
for
know
his
to
own
his
good,
face that I
because if he
think
gets
he's
it
the
in
best
his
shot I
head that he's a
know,
good
because
shot, it would get in his head the same way it would mine. He'll never live it down.
just-
He'll
he
stop
can't
practicing. He'll stop trying. He'll think that he's just better. Yeah,
So,
even
I'll
if he
never-
does
I'll never do it.
actively
Never
know
once.
it in his head, I will never say it out loud.
Hunters
And
are not good shots.
As
Most people who
far
go
as
hunting,
he needs to
they're not
know,
good at
I
shooting,
believe myself
because
to
that's
be
the only
as
time
good
they
as he
shoot.
is. And it's for his own good, because if he gets it in his head that he's a
Yeah.
good shot,
Exactly.
you think
He'll
people in
never
the
live it down.
military
He'll
would be
stop
slightly
practicing,
better.
he'll stop trying, he'll
think that he's
negligibly,
just better.
maybe.
The people
So,
who are
I'll
good
never-
at
I'll never
shooting
do
are
it.
the people
Never
who
once.
do it for fun.
Yeah. 'cause they
Hunters
want to.
hunters are not
Yeah.
good shots. Most people
Just,
who go
just like
hunting,
I was saying with your
they're
kid a
not
bit
good
ago.
at shooting.
If you put him
Because
on
that's the
things
only
that
time
he
they shoot.
wants to do, he's gonna be better at them. Make him want to do it. You
Make
think
him
people
want
in the
to trade
military would be
stocks.
slightly
Make
better.
him learn what options are.
Negligibly,
Oh, no,
maybe.
stocks
He'll
are just
make you-
gambling for the
the
rich.
people who
He'll
are
make you
good
so much
at
money
shooting are
if
the
he
people who
learns
do it for fun. How to read the system.
I would have to
Yeah.
learn how to read the system.
You
then.
wouldn't
Just
just
like
like
I
I
was
was
saying
saying
with
with
your
your
kid
kid
a bit
him
ago.
to learn how to read. You
it.
put him on things that he wants.
You
to
show
do,
him that
he's
it's
gonna be better at them.
interesting and that it can be fun,
Make
and
him
if
wanna
he
do it.
wants to learn how to do it,
Teach him how to
make
do it.
him want to trade
If
stocks.
he would rather
make him
learn how to
what
make
options
rockets
are.
go up into space,
He'll make you
tell him he's gonna have to
he'll make
settle
you
for
so
doing
much
it on
money
paper
if he
because you don't
learns
have the
how
money to
to-
do it. How to read the system.
Yeah, NASA's not hiring anymore, so
Right.
You wouldn't need to learn how to read it. You'd need him to learn how to read it.
Unfortunately,
You
our
show
education
him that it's
systems
interesting
have
and
failed
that it
us
can be
because
fun.
now
And if he wants to
we're-
learn how to do it, teach him how to do it.
Well,
We're
that's
seeking
because they're
if he
wanting
would
to
rather
produce
learn how to
workers.
make
Well, we're going
rockets
to
go
we're
up
going to
into
public
space.
education to learn
Tell
how
him
to
he's going to have to settle for
survive,
doing it
how to
on
just
paper
do
because
the
you don't have the
basic
money
things
to do it.
And then when you go to college, you think I'm going to get this college degree and I'm going to get a job in this degree
Unfortunately,
field. And the answer is
our
our
education systems,
unless
have
you have
failed
like a
us.
master's,
Now
nobody's going to hire you
we're-
just because you went to college for it.
We're
You're
seeking
going to get the same shitty entry level
Well,
position as
we're
somebody
going to
who
public
didn't go to
education
college.
to learn how to
survive.
The
how to
reason
just
for
do
that
the
is
basic things.
College is not
And
a good
then
way of saying
when you
how
go to
much
college,
you know, how
you
much you're
think,
capable
I'm
of
going to get
knowing
this
or how
college
intelligent
degree
you
and
are.
I'm going to get a job
Same
in
goes
this degree
with
field. And the
public
answer is you're not.
education.
They're
Unless
not
you have
a
like
good
a master's,
testament to how
nobody's
much
going
you
to hire
actually know
you
just because you went to college.
College
for
is
it.
pointless
You're going
unless
to
you
get
want
the
to be a
same
doctor.
shitty entry level position.
I would argue
as
there are
somebody who
some
didn't
reasons to go to college. Like,
And I went to college.
the reason for that is
computer science.
college is not a good
I
way
wanted
of
to start
saying
making
how
my
much
own
you
video
know,
game.
how much
I
you're
got all the
capable of
knowledge
knowing,
that I
or how
needed to learn how to
intelligent
do
you are.
that with an
Same
associate's
goes
degree.
with
And then looking ahead at my
public education.
bachelor's, it
They're
wasn't
not
going
a
to be
good
worth it for
testament
me to
to how
stay
much
in.
you
I wasn't going
actually
to learn
know.
anything that I didn't already know how to do.
Well, I would argue
then
there
I thought
are
about
some
it and I'm like, well,
reasons
this
to go to
associate's
college.
degree is pretty much useless.
I went to
People are gonna
college
look at it and go,
for
oh,
computer
they
science.
didn't finish their degree.
I
wanted to start making my own video game.
Well, that makes
I
the
got all the
bachelor
knowledge that I
useless
needed
because
to
you don't
learn how to
actually
do
learn
that
that much
with
more.
an associate's degree.
And
I
I
know
know
people
people
in
in
the
a
master's
bachelor's
program who told me that
it wasn't
for the
gonna be worth it
masters
for me to stay they
in.
just
I wasn't
made a
going to learn
game.
anything that I didn't already know how to do.
Well, then I thought about it and I'm
Game
like, well,
development
this
master's
associate's
degree is
they
pretty
just
much
made a
useless.
game
People are gonna
after
look
they
at it
had
and
their
go,
bachelor's.
oh, they didn't
That's
even
kind of sad
finish their
because I
degree.
could do that right now. I
Well,
just
that
don't
makes
have
the
the
bachelor
time,
useless because you don't
money.
actually learn that much more. And
Energy.
I know people in
Energy.
the master's program who told me that
To-
for the
to just
masters,
go do it.
They just made
So
a game.
I would
argue that college, in a way, you go there, learn skills. It's fantastic. Game development,
you're
learning
masters.
life skills
They
that
just
will
made
help
a game
you succeed
after
with
they
your
had their
career.
bachelors.
However,
That's kind of sad
because
you
I
don't
could
need
do
to
that
go to
right
college
now
to get just
I just
as
don't
good
have
at
the
the exact same
time,
things.
money,
Right.
energy
Like, for example, if your college
to
professor
just go
probably knows
do
a lot of
it.
things,
So
but
I would
does-
argue that
so does a 15-year-old
college,
who is a
in a
pastor
way,
with
you can
computers.
go
Like,
there,
yeah,
learn
yeah.
skills. It's
You can
fantastic.
find 15-year-olds
You're
that
learning
are
life
making their
skills
own
that will
games,
help
and
you
they're pretty
succeed
good
with
at
your
it, and
career.
it's just 'cause it's what they wanna do.
However,
They're
you
good
don't
at
need
it
to go to
because they
college
have
to
the
get
ability to
just
learn
as
it.
good at the exact same.
and they
That's-
can go and do it, but then put them in front of
Um,
a professor so they can get those credentials, and they're just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
That could be the case. The military is especially bad at that because they're
you
just
can find
really embracing
15-year-olds
that
are making their own games,
top
and they're
down
pretty
style
good at
of
it,
governance.
and it's just because it's what they want to do.
They're
federal
good at it
government
because
likes.
they have the ability to learn it. The same one
That's-
that our Department of Education uses. It doesn't work. Truth of the matter is,
that could be the case.
It just really doesn't work. The military is especially bad at that.
The best way to
because they're just
learn
really embracing
is
that
to
top-down style of governance.
learn
that,
the things you want
the
to
federal
learn
government likes
that are practical to know.
the same one that are
Once you have practicality
Department
down,
of Education
if you want to learn
uses,
about,
it doesn't work.
complete bullshit that doesn't
Truth of the
matter. You want
is,
to learn,
it just really doesn't work. The
um,
elemental composition.
the best way to
of
learn
different
to
metals. It's not super useful.
learn the
There's
things
probably
you
a
want
niche
to
where it's super
learn
important,
that are practical to know.
but
But
you know
it's
how to
not.
do basic multiplication and division.
Once you have
and
practicality
know
down,
how
if
to
you want to learn
divide by
about
10, you can
complete
do,
bullshit
you can do
that
math
doesn't matter. You want to
for
learn
money. You're good.
Right.
The elemental composition.
that's probably
of
all most people need
different metals
when it comes to math.
It's not super useful.
I-
There's probably
I-
a niche where it's super important.
I really like space. We talk
but
about
you know how to
space
do
and physics
basic
all the time.
multiplication and division.
We do.
And
I
you
don't know any of the
how to
equations
divide by 10. You can
for-
do, you can
for
do most of
math
the subjects we talk
for
about
money.
but I
You're good.
enjoy it enough to know the parts that I enjoy knowing.
And that's probably
not
all
what I
most
want to do
people
with my
need
life, so I don't need
when
to
it
know a
comes to
lot about
math.
it. Like,
It's important early on. I would think
I
people
really
should
like space.
learn what they want to do.
We
with
talk
life.
about space and physics all the time.
and stick to it.
I don't know
That's
any of the
a big one.
equations.
If your kid knows what they want to do for most of the
Get
subjects
them on
we
that
talk
track
about, get them going. But I enjoy it
Well,
enough
he's
to
always
know
changing what
the
he
parts
wants
that
to
I
do.
enjoy knowing.
So, but like every
he's
time
young.
he's like,
It's
I
not what I
wanna
want to
go
do
and
with my
do this,
life,
or I'm
so I don't
really
need to
interested
know a
in
lot
this,
about it.
I will be like, all right, let's figure out how you
It's
can learn
important
more.
early on.
So,
I
for
would think
example,
people should
last year,
learn what they
and I
want to
mean,
do
he's
with
still
life
really interested
Like,
in space, but he was
and
really
stick to it.
like
That's a
about the
big one. If your kid
constellations.
knows
So
what they
I
want to
bought
do,
him a book full of
get them on that
constellations
track
and
and
where you can
get them
find
going.
them. And then I bought him this like night
Oh, he's
sky
young.
type of fabric, right? And we hung up the fabric, and I handed him the book and said, all right, we're going to sit here. You can read through this just quickly and see where those are, and then you can point them out to me and see if you can find them. And we would sit there, and I would time him how quick he can do it.
Now, why don't
And he
you
was
go
like-
take him 50 miles out of the city where there's no light pollution and have him do it to the night sky?
That was our next thing, and then it just never happened.
Just wait till the solar eclipse.
So he lost interest because there wasn't enough time for him to pursue it.
I mean, it's not that he lost interest. He's still interested in it, but he's moved on to
Now, why
other
don't you
interests.
go
So
take him 50
like,
miles out of the city where there's no light pollution and have him do
we
it
can't
to the night
necessarily
sky?
because even if we go 50 miles outside of the city, there's still so much pollution here that it's not gonna happen.
So he lost interest.
50
because
miles
there
outside
wasn't
the city
enough
is
time
pretty
for him
fucking
to
far.
pursue it.
I mean, yes, you say it's pretty fucking far, but I've been 50 miles outside the city, and it's honestly, it's as if we're still in the city.
Then go a little further.
Anyways, you're both off topic.
No, we're still talking about education. We're just not
No,
talking about
we were
formal
We were
education.
supposed to be talking about guns.
Oh, we're
50
talking
miles
about
outside the
guns
city
right
is
now.
You
pretty
both
fucking
lose a
far.
point.
Oh no.
I was gonna bring that up too. Like, how did
Then
we
go a
get back
little
on the
further.
education thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
No, we're still talking
We
about
were
education.
talking about
we're just
people being
not
shots
talking
and
about
doing what
formal
they
education.
want, and then doing what you
Yeah.
want
Oh,
became
we're talking about
computer
guns right
education,
now.
and
Oh,
computer
jeez.
education became
Oh, no.
education all over again.
Guns. I own a lot of them. I have one on my desk right now over there
I
somewhere.
don't know.
It's under a pile of stuff. I need to clean my desk today. You own any?
I don't.
I don't think you do.
I don't.
Why not?
I
Is
Yeah.
it just
It's
because
hard
you
to own
live
guns in
somewhere?
California.
Is it just because you live somewhere where it's hard to own them, or have you
It's
never
hard to own
wanted
good guns.
to? Guns.
no. I want to get guns.
I own
It's
a lot of
just
them. I have
hard
one on my desk right
choosing. I'm in
now over
California.
there
There's so
somewhere.
many different
It's under a
types of
pile of
forms I
stuff.
have
I
to
need to
fill
clean my
out.
desk today.
I keep looking at them. Like, I don't know where to begin.
You
with
own
shit.
any?
You
I
would
don't think you
need
do.
the first thing you need is a.
Why not? Is it just because you live somewhere? Is it just because you live
firearms
somewhere where it's hard to
permit,
own
you'd have
them?
to take a
or
written test.
Have you never wanted
and-
to? I understand the California one is actually kind of easy to get the initial test done. They just don't have very many applicants throughout the year because they hear about how hard it is. Then you have to get an acquisition permit.
You would need
a buyer's
the first thing
permit,
you
if
need
you
is
will.
a
And then you have to go through the process
firearms
of buying
permit,
one, which
you'd
is
have
a
to
series
take
of
a written
background
test,
checks, and
then you have to register.
I understand
it
the
in
California one is
California.
actually kind of easy to get the.
It's not super
the initial
difficult.
test
It's actually
done.
pretty easy.
They just don't have very many applicants throughout
It
the
probably
year because
costs
they
you
hear about how hard it
around
is. Then you have to get an
$70-100
acquisition permit, a buyer's
And
permit,
$100
if you will,
bucks.
$70 to $100.
Oh,
And then you have to go through the process.
and then
of
a gun
buying
itself,
one, which
depending
is
on
a
what
series
you
of
want,
background checks.
Can you own a revolver?
Then you have to register it in
I don't-
California.
it's
N-
less
I don't
than 10.
think- I don't think so.
It's not super
can't-
difficult. It's
Maybe?
actually pretty easy.
Why not?
or is that
It probably
just-
cost you around
Revolvers have less than 10
$70-100
shots.
and then $70 to $100.
That's an excellent question. Hold on.
And then a gun
There's,
itself,
like,
depending on what
revolvers
you want,
are
like
Worse
can
than
you own a revolver?
semi-autos.
I don't think you can.
They never
you
can.
can't.
But in a self-defense situation, you probably don't want a revolver.
Or is that just?
You can.
I was
can.
thinking like
Yeah.
A cheap revolver you could get for probably $600.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to go really cheap, there's a little brand called High Point.
Yeah, you can get a gun for $100.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
I don't.
they do
Yeah.
work.
They work just as good.
As
you
a
can. You can.
paperweight or
I
boat
was thinking
anchor,
like a cheap
revolver
revolver
you could get for probably
I mean,
$600.
to be fair, they are decently reliable. They're just really
I've had
gross
one.
to shoot.
Yeah. I had
Yeah,
a high
you
point
get-
9
you
mil
get a gun for $100.
for not very long. I put probably 600 rounds through it. We were
They were
just seeing if
just
we could
as
fuck it
good
up. We couldn't.
as a paperweight
Yeah, no,
or
it will
boat
run.
anchor.
It'll
They
keep
do
going.
work.
Like, they know what they're making, and they make it well for what it is.
I've had one.
That
Yeah.
said, even then,
I had
California
a
compliant
9 mil
AR-15
for
would still
not
only
very
run you
long.
like
I
$1,500.
put probably 600 rounds through
I say
it.
only
We were just seeing if we
$1,500,
could
but
fuck
that's
it
just
up.
because
we
I'll
could
throw
throw $1,500 at a gun.
I mean,
It'll
don't
keep
have
going.
throwing $1,500 at a gun.
Either do I. It's you
5
just
years
do it.
ago, I built my AR-15 for like $900.
That said, even then, California
By ordering
compliant
parts.
AR-15
Yeah,
would still
Just piece
only
at a
run you
time.
like
$1,500.
what restrictions?
You live in
I say
California.
only
one of the most
$1,500,
restrictive
but that's
states
just because
in I'll
in
throw
the union.
$1,500 at a gun.
What do you think people should be able to have?
Either do
Something
I.
to
It's
defend
you
themselves
just do
with?
it.
What? Yeah. What do you think people should have though?
Yeah.
You think there's a caliber that's too high?
what-
you think there's
what
a magazine
restrictions,
capacity
you
that's
know,
too
you
live in
high?
California,
One of the
I-
most
not
restrictive
necessarily
states
magazine
in
capacity, but I think if you're
in the union.
if you're holding a gun,
What do you
with a
think people should be able to
50
have?
50 caliber like thing, I think that's a bit too much. That's a bit overpowered.
Also, 50 Action Express is
What?
too
Yeah.
much.
What do you think people should have though? You think there's a caliber that's too high? You think there's a
Yeah,
magazine
the one
capacity that's too high?
because it's overkill in my opinion.
It depends on what you're shooting.
I was thinking self-defense, but
I'll have you know, muzzle loader is usually 70 caliber.
That's
see,
a hunting
that's
rifle.
also too much.
That's a hunting
But
rifle.
you only get one shot.
It's a very common hunting rifle.
Well, yeah, black powder muzzle loader.
Why?
And you actually don't need a license for that. You can just order one and have it mailed to your house.
It depends on what you're shooting.
You don't need to get it registered because it's not a gun. Or it's not a firearm.
That's a hunting rifle. I live in Iowa. That's a
and,
hunting rifle. Even if I didn't, it's a
live in
very
Iowa,
common hunting
I don't
rifle.
care.
So you can, even in California, you can probably own a cannon.
I don't think
Set up
there's
a
anything
cannon
illegal about
with some
I mean,
grape shot facing your door,
self-defense.
just in case.
You want a weapon that's just for self-defense, nothing else.
I live in Iowa.
Honestly,
I mean-
I think the best gun
even
if I
you
did
could
get
live in Iowa
would
I don't care.
be a short barrel shotgun. Those are
Yes.
illegal. They're very illegal,
Well,
and I think
not
that
if they aren't a firearm.
if they're not a firearm, yeah, I'm talking
Get
one
one
that's
if you get a
a
bird's
firearm.
neck shotgun.
I mean,
it
you
is
want,
an NFA
you want,
item. and you're fine.
self-defense. You want a weapon that's just for self-defense, nothing else.
It is
Honestly,
described
I think
as
the best
an
gun you
other
could get
firearm.
would be
Not a
a
short-barreled
short barrel shotgun. Those are illegal.
However, if you put a pistol grip on it, then
They're
it
very
becomes
illegal.
illegal.
And all these technicalities that don't actually
if
make
they're
a
not
difference.
a firearm, yeah.
Like,
I'm talking
on
one
what
that's
the
It's
a
weapons
firearm
are.
actually
Shotgun.
is. Or even if you don't want to consider it a weapon, if you want to call it a gun, it's a gun, not a weapon. That's what they are. They're weapons. You might not
tools.
use them all as weapons. Yeah, they're tools. The tool's primary purpose is to kill things. It's a weapon. I won't
all these
sugarcoat it.
technicalities
I think
that
don't
it's
actually
important
make a
to-
difference. Like
to
on
discern
what these
weapon
items are
actually is.
or
I
even if you
think
don't want to consider
the
it a
public
weapon,
having
if you want to
access
call
to
it a gun,
weaponry
it's a
is a
gun,
good thing.
not a
It's a
weapon.
net positive
That's what they
across
are.
the
They're
board.
weapons. You might not use them all.
I
as
don't see the
weapons.
point in
yeah,
having
they're
restrictions.
tools. The tool's primary purpose is to
at
kill
all.
things.
Honestly,
It's a
if-
weapon.
If
I
everybody
won't
in your
sugarcoat it.
entire
I
city
think that
had a
it's
gun on them
important
at all
to-
times,
You specifically,
to
Randy,
discern
your crime
what
rate
these
would go
items
up
are,
quite a bit
for a very
um,
short period of time,
I think
and then right back down.
the public having access to
It'd
probably be
weaponry
lower.
is a good thing.
Where I live
It's a
in
net
rural
positive
Iowa,
across the board.
most of the people here do carry guns.
I don't see the point
Most
in
of the
having
time.
restrictions.
And
The crime rate
at
here is
all,
practically
honestly,
zero.
if everybody in
Yeah,
your
'cause
entire
if
city
you
had a gun on
decide to
them at
mug
all
somebody
times,
with your gun,
You specifically, Randy,
there's
your crime
bystanders
rate would
who
go
are
up
all
quite a bit
armed,
for a very
how well
short
do you think
period
that's
of
gonna go
time.
for you?
and
it's not
then
going to
right
go
back
very
down.
well.
No, it's not.
So
Where-
people here,
No, I mean,
where I
see
live
your
in rural
point. I'm
Iowa,
not saying I disagree.
most
I see
of
your
the people
point. I
here
just
do
think that
carry
there
guns
should be some
most of the
form
time.
I don't know.
And
Limitations?
then
crime
what,
rate here
what
is
level do
practically
you start
zero.
those limits? Do you say like just the government should have them,
No, the
No?
government can't be trusted. Are you kidding
Well, if
me?
you're not going to trust the government with them, and you're not going to
It's not
trust
gonna go
people
very
with
well.
them, are
So
we saying
people
that they just
here-
shouldn't exist?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So
Look at Europe.
we
Or
knew
look
that.
at
What
England
level did you
specifically.
start those limits?
No,
Did you say
actually,
like
look
just
at
the
France.
government should have them?
Look at France, too.
Apparently.
Oh,
We
no,
got rid of
we
guns.
could.
People will
well, if you're
resort
not
to
gonna
those
trust
things.
the
That's my
government
opinion.
with
I never
them,
said my opinion.
we can make it less
And
immediate.
you're not
We
gonna
could
trust
talk
people
about
with them.
we could talk about
Are we
the
saying
Cold
that they
War.
just shouldn't
Say
exist?
the Soviet era Russians developing nuclear technology, and we didn't. Say we just didn't. We knew that there's no deterrence to use it. No, we could
Motivation.
Exactly.
there's we could make it less
Why-
immediate. We could talk about
It's about self-control.
talk about
the
I
Cold
guess
War.
is the best way
Say
to put it. The
U.S.
the Soviet era
had
Russians
nuclear
developing
technology,
nuclear
long before
technology
the rest of the world. A
and
significant
we
amount of
didn't.
time before
Say
the
we
rest of
just
the world.
didn't. Why didn't we use it to conquer
There's-
the entire world? No deterrence
Because it wouldn't
to
have
use
been
it.
right.
No, not because we couldn't, but because we had a
Motivation.
sense of morality. There's our morals said
Why-
just because we have these doesn't
It's
mean we
about
should use them for
self-control,
our own
I
benefit.
guess
is the best way to put it. The U.S. had nuclear technology long
Right.
before the rest of the world. Like
We
a
ended a
significant
war with
amount of
them,
time before the rest of the
and
world.
to an extent,
Why
you could
didn't we
argue
use it to
that
conquer
that
the
was
entire
a selfish
world?
act, and that it was not a
Because
good thing
it
to
wouldn't
do.
have been
right.
Not because
You
we
could
couldn't
make those
but
points,
because
you could
we had
argue
a
those
sense
points.
of morality. Our
But
morals said
how many
just because we
Americans
have
did
these
we
doesn't mean
prevent
we
from
should
dying?
use them for our own benefit by
And how
using
many
them.
Japanese did we
How
prevent
many
from
Japanese did we prevent from dying by not using them?
We ended a war with them.
The
And
Japanese,
to an extent,
were,
you could argue
to the last
that
man
was
type
a
of
selfish
society,
act, and
they
that
would have
was
fought
not a good
us.
thing to do.
Every man, woman, and child.
You could make those points. You could
And
argue those
we
points.
used decisive action to say no.
But how many-
you're going
how many
to stop because
Americans
we're not
did
going to
we
die to
prevent
prevent from dying by using
It was
them.
an amazing
How
deterrent.
many
that
Japanese
stopped
did we
a,
prevent
stopped
from
a
dying
war that could have gone on
by not
for
using them?
probably 10 more years.
The Japanese were to the last man type of
But
society.
then we didn't
They would
use
have
it
fought us
Ever again.
every
to
man,
become
woman, and child.
far as we know.
colonialists.
We didn't
And
use
we used
nukes
decisive action
to
to say,
completely
no,
eliminate
you're
Soviet
going to
Russia
stop because
we
we're
could
not going to die to
but
do
we
this.
didn't.
Right.
And
It was
we
a-
didn't
it was an
understand the
amazing
effects of
deterrent that
radiation at the
stopped
time.
a- stopped a war
So
that could have gone on
We
for
found out pretty
Probably
quick.
10 more years.
Yeah, we found out,
But at the time, we didn't know.
but then we didn't.
For all we
use
knew,
it
we were just making a massive explosion to become colonialists. We
Right.
didn't use nukes to
was
completely
just a big
eliminate Soviet
ball
Russia.
Oof.
So
We
it's,
could've,
it's not about
but we didn't.
the firearms. It's about, and we didn't understand the effects
Self-control.
of radiation at the time. So if I had a nuke in my
Yeah, we
basement,
found out,
just because I have
but
it
at the
doesn't
time,
mean I'm going
we didn't
to
know.
use it. For all we knew, we
Do
were
I
just
need
making
a
a
nuke
massive
in my
explosion.
basement?
No, but it's definitely going to prevent people from ever trying to fuck with me. So it's not about the firearms, it's about self-control.
Right.
Like if I had a
Why
nuke
don't you have a nuke
in
in your
my
basement?
basement, just because I have it
Right.
doesn't mean
I don't
I'm
wanna
going
maintain
to
one of
use
those.
it.
Do I
Okay,
need
yeah,
a nuke
that-
in my
that-
basement?
That tracks. No, but it's
know how
definitely
much
going to
maintenance goes
prevent
into each
people
and
from
every
ever
one of them?
trying to fuck with me. Why
It's
not?
so much.
Why not get an a 240 Bravo and post that up?
Why don't you have a
your
nuke in your
doorway
basement?
for your self-defense weapon?
You could.
For
Okay, yeah,
those
that
who don't
tracks.
know what that is, it's a
Yeah, why
it's
not?
a chain-fed machine gun.
Why not? Why not get?
If you look up M249, you'll figure it out.
An M24
Probably
just talking about the
fit in my
240.
doorway.
If you've
and
played
post
Call
that
of
up
Duty,
in your doorway for your
M249,
self-defense weapon.
Either
That's
way,
what it is.
It's a big machine gun.
Because it wouldn't fit in my
for
door.
for those
Sure it would.
It
who
would.
don't know what that is. It's a
no.
it's
It would
a
fit
I
in your.
would
It would fit in your
chain-fed
two hands.
machine gun.
Yeah.
You could carry it on your back.
It's very heavy, but you could.
I was just talking about the
it's not that
240. It's a
heavy.
little
It's
smaller.
like 20 pounds.
Either way, it's a big machine gun.
compared to the standard
Um,
issue rifle, which is usually 6.
Sure. it
Yeah,
would.
sure. It's heavier than most other firearms.
It would fit
but
in
it's
your.
not
It would
a
fit in your two
heavy
hands.
thing.
Yeah.
You could carry it on your back.
Why not?
Because it's excessive.
They're expensive. That's my
it's
main
not
reason.
that heavy.
Yeah.
It's like 20 pounds.
They're expensive as shit. That's why most of us don't have them. But
And I don't have the licensing to own a fully automatic firearm.
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
the
it's
government
heavier
says
than
we're not allowed
most
to.
other
But the
firearms,
government has a lot
but
of
it's
them.
not
And
a
we've seen
heavy
plenty
thing.
instances of the government being fully willing to use them against why not citizens?
Yeah, it happens
Because
all the
it's
time.
excessive.
And it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's also not always a good
They're,
thing.
they're expensive as shit. That's why most of us don't have them. But
Yeah.
if
I guess
somebody
it just goes back to the self-control that you say.
Well,
Yeah,
the
if somebody
government
wants
says
to
we're not
break
allowed
into your
to,
house
but the
with a
government
knife
has a
and
lot of
rob
them,
you at
and
knife
we've
point
seen
right
plenty
now,
instances of the government
gonna
being
win.
fully willing to use them against ground citizens.
Unless you have a bat.
Yeah,
I mean,
Bat's
Brody-
easier
I
than a
do.
knife.
I have a steel bat.
It's not
Brody
always
might be
bad thing,
a big
but
help
it's also not always a
for
good
you,
thing.
but for the most part, if somebody broke into your
If
house
somebody-
right now and had like the same level of weaponry,
But yeah,
you
if
do,
somebody wants to break
are
into
you
your
getting
house
robbed?
with a knife and rob you at knife point right now, they're gonna win. Yeah.
It depends. Are they robbing me with
I mean,
a
Brody-
knife or with a baseball bat?
With
Brody
both.
might
Why
be
not?
a big help for
okay,
you, but
so with
for the
a
most
knife,
part,
I could probably beat them.
if somebody broke into your house right
okay,
now
say they have
and
a
had
baseball
like
bat.
the
They're
same
there with a
level
baseball
of weaponry
bat,
you do,
and
Brody's
are
out
you
of the
getting
equation
robbed?
for one reason or another,
They're
they're taking your
He's
shit.
not home.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go down without a fight, but I don't know.
Both.
It depends on
Why
how
not?
apt they are with a
You
baseball
you go
bat.
to a bat you go into a bat fight. Okay, well I would
Okay, say they have a
see,
baseball
because I have a
bat.
bunch
They're
of
there with a
guns in my
baseball bat,
house, and Brody's
They're
out of the
gunfight.
equation for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Well, I
They're-
don't
they're
have
taking
guns
your
in
shit.
my house.
Yeah, you should
I agree with you. Yes, I've already said that.
hop on it. I hope you shot
buy-
for something. You go to a bat.
California
You go into a
complacent.
bat fight.
Yeah. If you buy a
Alright.
bunch of black powder pistols,
Okay,
and load
well I
all of
wouldn't
them,
see because I have a bunch of guns in my house.
Aren't
just
they
like-
single shot?
It'll be a
They
gunfight.
are, but that's why you have a bunch of
so
them.
many of them.
you would
Yeah,
be
you
like
should.
an officer or a pirate even. You just have an entire like chest
on it.
rig of like 6 of those things. You fire
guess-
one,
I
drop
hope you
it,
shot
grab
for
the
something.
other.
I
California
guess you can help me
complacent.
shop for one, and I can always ask my uncle and my brother-in-law to help me get a license.
Yeah,
The only
it
issue
wouldn't
is
be very hard.
Finding is
Yeah.
getting one with a 10. Well, it's
That's
not
why
an
you
issue,
have
there's
so
10
many of
automatics
them.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, because my uncle owns several guns, and so but he was also military and works for government. So it's
All right,
probably easier
I
for him.
believe that was the last of our topics. We're a little over on time, but
Little
this
over?
has been.
About
it,
20
it
seconds.
wouldn't be very hard.
Actually,
Oh,
7
we're
minutes,
six,
but-
6 minutes over.
Yeah,
It's
each
been a good time.
segment's- Yeah, each one is going to be like an hour, so maybe more if we decide to have,
Special
It's okay.
guests.
We'll cut it down in post.
All
in
right,
post,
I believe
100%.
that was the last
Yeah,
of
yeah.
our topics. We're a little over on
Trim in
time.
post,
We'll
absolutely.
just
But
cut
this
out the
has
awkward
been a-
silences.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
some of the
6
racist
minutes
humor. We'll it's been a good
Bring it
time.
down a little bit. It'll be all right.
they say that, but we're not actually going to do that.
What's our agenda for next time? Special guests.
Good question.
Let's see.
Excellent
What do we got?
question.
We'll trim it in post.
Rainey, you get 2 points.
Oh, thank you.
We'll just cut out the awkward silences.
what?
How the fuck is she
the
ahead of
racist
me on
humor.
points? Episode 1. This makes no sense.
It'll be all right.
Lolo, you lose a point.
Fuck you. What's our agenda for? I didn't want
You
your points
question
anyway.
me. You question me.
See?
What do I got
See,
here?
I see what you mean now, Lolo.
I didn't want your points anyway.
We were supposed to talk about.
What?
Oh, see,
How the fuck is she
oh,
ahead of me on
You can't
points?
say that in
Episode
America.
1.
Minus a point.
This makes no sense. I can't go negative on points.
Fuck
There's no
you.
such thing as negative points.
You lose 10 points.
I didn't want your points anyway.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. We talked about schooling, dragons,
I didn't want your points
and
anyway,
guns.
fucking
It's a good lineup for first episode.
Yeah. Next time, we may talk about unity. We may talk
I
about
can't go
triangles.
negative
Yeah, we
on
might get
points.
to
There's
it.
no such
We
thing
might,
as negative points.
Somehow it will make
Atlantis, nuclear
sense.
power.
Ooh, yes.
We already
we'll
talked
see.
about nuclear power.
Yeah.
No,
we
we
talked
talked about
about
nuclear weapons.
schooling,
Very different.
Yeah, nuclear power is a
dragons,
different thing.
and guns. It's a good lineup. for
hopefully
first
next time I'll have a
episode.
better haircut.
Better haircut.
Yeah.
Hopefully next
Lolo, you
time
get a
my
point.
hair will be fixed.
Yeah, we might get to it.
I get a point
always
for
is.
saying that I have a bad
Um,
haircut.
I can't see anything,
Atlantis.
so you're helping
Nuclear
me
power.
visualize this.
We'll see. Okay. No, we talked about nuclear weapons. Very different. Don't listen to this. That's all.
Or listen to it.
Hopefully next time
and say
I'll have a
that
better
we're
haircut.
great. I mean,
No,
that
we're
works
already
too.
we're already done.
Yeah.
The whole concept is that we're talking bullshit and people shouldn't listen.
I get a point.
Don't
for saying
listen
that I have
if
a
you
bad
should- if you
haircut.
made
Prefaced
it.
with that.
If you made it all the way to the end of this,
No,
don't
they
listen
wanna
to the next
to
one.
us.
Don't. Okay. Have
Or
a good
do.
night.